Batman and Superman, the best of friends, the super best friends, or were they ever really friends at all? Frankly, I've questioned myself about this quite a bit, but ever since I started reading the Injustice comics, so shout out to you guys, because you guys are the reason why I started actually reading the comics as well, on top of playing the games. I basically saw Batman be the first person Superman went to when Lois got pregnant, or when she was officially pregnant. Clark was happy, but he was also nervous. Batman referenced this as well, talking about he's never been this nervous, well, except for Doomsday, but he wouldn't be smiling like an idiot if it was Doomsday, obviously. Now, with that said, well, doesn't this make them friends? I mean, Batman literally is able to deduce that Lois is pregnant before Clark even tells him. Well, Clark wanted to celebrate and talk to his friend about the pregnancy of his, well, love of his life. He wanted to celebrate the fact that he was going to have a child. And, well, wouldn't this make them best of friends? Well, sort of. And most people from the outside looking in would say, yeah, they must be best friends. They must have like this unbreakable bond. But was this super friendship really a super friendship? Because it began to spiral out of control faster than you could possibly imagine. And this would lead into the downfall of Injustice Superman. Now, it all starts one day when the Joker is wreaking havoc on Metropolis, and of course we lead into this interaction with Superman, the Joker, and Harley Quinn. Fear toxin would creep into the breath of Injustice Superman, and he would spiral out of control, thinking that Lois Lane, the love of his life, was actually Doomsday. And especially because this fear toxin actually had kryptonite laced within it, he would take Lois, or what he would think as Doomsday, up into space, and unfortunately, she would pass away, dying and taking the entire city he loved, Metropolis, with it, killing millions. But it seems like the death that really mattered was the one that he caused truly, being that of Lois and his unborn child. Now, this is where a point of contention comes up a lot, because Superman would go and send his hand through the chest of the Joker. But I think a lot of us will sit here and be like, well, yes, you shouldn't kill, but also, who wouldn't do this action if you were put through the hell that Superman was put through? But the real point of contention was the idea of Batman being responsible for this spiral and this downfall. Now, I want to start with one reason why most people will say this, and that reason is that he never killed the Joker. Now, this reason specifically is an interesting one, because the moral code and the code that Batman follows will not allow him to kill, and I believe he states himself that killing is the easy part, that it's just too damn easy to cross that line. So that's why he never killed the Joker. That's the whole reason why he never killed the Joker. He believed that crossing that line not only was too easy, but that he was not above the law. That the law stated that there would be no killing, that everybody would be imprisoned if they, well, did something wrong, aka did something unlawful, so that would still fall in line with the Joker. Killing the Joker was out of the question, at least for Batman. And some of you will be like, well, that makes no sense. The Joker has millions of bodies, millions of people, frankly, that are on Batman's hands because he continued to just imprison the Joker and he would get out. And I know some will argue that, hey, that's not Batman's fault. That's the justice system's fault. The justice system that was in place to make the people, or the regular humans, feel better. And Batman himself would follow along with that justice system so that everyone else feels okay with it. There was no death penalty. There was no, well, any further measurement to take out the Joker entirely. There was only one thing: imprisonment. Yes, there was isolation and so on, but it was only imprisonment. And the reason why the Joker kept breaking out was because of how bad these prisons truly were, or felt like to a large extent. Now, with that said, let's get past the idea that Batman would kill the Joker. Because Batman, let's be honest, wouldn't kill the Joker, at least not in this Injustice universe. I'm sure there is a comic that Batman does kill the Joker, and I'm sure there's times that Batman has in the past. But for the most part, Batman refuses to kill anybody, and that includes the Joker, the madman that's killed millions. But here's another thing that I want to get into, because this was a reason why I partially believe, yes, partially believe that Batman is responsible for Injustice Superman's downfall. I want to make this clear. A grown man with powers like Superman will do whatever he wants when he wants, no matter if anybody else wants it. So, when we talk about responsibility, we talk about, did he play a part? Or at least in my book, did Batman play a part or have a role in Superman's downfall? And he 100% did. Because after Superman came in, sent his hand through the Joker's chest, well, let's just say the friend, the super friend, the bat friend, the best of friends, the man that listened or knew that Clark's wife, or love of his life, was pregnant before Clark even uttered it out of his mouth, didn't feel like a friend anymore, because he knew the stakes that Clark just passed. At the end of the day, Batman's head is in the act of, you cannot kill no matter what, and that restrictions need to be put on us even more than anybody else, because we are super powered. At least in this universe, that's kind of the feeling you get from Batman. So instead of being the friend that comforts the human side of Clark, the side that grew up on a ranch or a farm, the side that was mourning for the one person he loved beyond anybody else, Batman told him that he killed, that he shouldn't have killed, and that you can't kill, and that he's just as bad as them now, that he's a criminal. Batman insinuated this to a large extent, and Batman basically pushed Superman even further across that line. It's a sad thing, because we do sit here and we talk about, is Batman and Superman truly a friendship? And in my eyes, it doesn't really feel that way. It doesn't feel like they're some best of friends. It feels as if they are in the same kind of spots. They're both superheroes to an extent, just two very different type of superheroes. One that deals in brutality, in fear, and that has to deal with some scary criminals, but Clark is quite the opposite, right? He's in the same spot as a superhero or as someone that needs to protect these humans, but Superman is fighting these monstrous beings in terms of superpowered beings. Batman does take on them from time to time, but even Superman doesn't take on the mind and mental warfare that Batman goes through on a day-to-day basis. So when Superman was put in that position, he cracked and he broke. He actually, well, you could argue, he shattered. Unfortunately, Clark, or Superman, would fall victim to the Joker and would have really nobody to comfort him. And when he looked to the one person he thought would comfort him, Batman was nowhere to be seen and nowhere to be found. All he could think about was how to stop Clark. That Clark needed to be put away, that he needed to be imprisoned, or something of that magnitude. That is what needed to be done. That Clark could not be allowed to continue this war path of killing. And that worried Batman, and that was his main priority. And some of you may say, well, shouldn't have that been his main priority? I mean, we have the most powerful being standing in front of you, and he decides that he wants to kill those who deserve it, which that's a very loose term, by the way. Who is up for morality and who truly is in in deserving of death, right? That is a very tough question. But here's the thing. Batman believed that it was not time for friendship, that it was time for action. And it's a scary thing. It is. It truly is, in my opinion, because maybe Batman was right. Maybe it wasn't time for a friendship thing. Maybe he truly saw that Superman was irredeemable past this point, that his mind was made up and there was no telling him otherwise. There was no solving it in another way. And there's a lot of things that conclude that to be true. There's a lot of times, even in the comics early on, and even in Injustice 1 and Injustice 2, that prove this to be kind of true. That Superman never comes back to the light, never comes back to see it. But who knows? Was Batman really responsible for the downfall? Could Batman have helped him if he decided that instead of trying to stop the nuclear bomb that is Superman, he tried to defuse it? Not prepare to stop it, not build up the walls, the structures to brace for impact, but actually step forward and try and defuse the situation. Speak with Superman. Tell him that killing was wrong, that we are not the executioners, we are not the judge, jury, and executioners, but he understands that he's just gone through a monumentous loss. And he understands that he is the victim right here, but we have to be held accountable as well. Maybe if he actually sat down and spoke with Clark, told him, hey, it's okay, buddy. It is. We get it. That the human side of you broke for a second. Not everybody can be strong, iron-willed forever and always. That you just lost something that you thought you would never lose. You just lost something that you can never get back, and that it's time to mourn, time to grieve. And Batman stands there and helps him, sits beside him, comforting him, and does all of these things. Would Superman still go on that warpath? Maybe Superman ends up turning himself in, saying that, hey, that he's willing to basically take the punishment, to go in, be imprisoned, and try his best to work off his time. If that means saving the day when they need him under the rules that they set, or so on and so forth. Because Batman himself believes that everybody can be rehabilitated, right? Because if you're imprisoned, you're trying to be rehabilitated, aka you are serving your time. So everyone deserves that second chance. Would Superman have actually gone for that? Would Superman actually have decided, hey, you know what? I get it. And decide to put himself into prison and then serve out his time. And then if they needed him, he was there to help them. But other than that, he would serve time just like everybody else and show exactly the type of basically place and world this was. Showing that nobody was above the law, showing that, and even in himself, that even Superman was not above the law. Would that have happened if Batman did approach things in this way? I'm not sure. I'm not. And I cannot give no guarantee, but I will say, in my opinion, Batman was partially responsible for the downfall of Superman. But there is no one person is responsible. Let's be honest. I've made quite a couple videos talking about, or I made a video talking about how Wonder Woman was the true villain and that this person and this person, right? In all reality, it's never that simple. There is no bad and good. There never is, and there never will be. It's never as simple as your fault, not my fault. It never will be that simple. Everyone plays their role, and Batman, well, he played his role, and that role, it might have affected the downfall of Superman. The big blue Boy Scout that we know that protects turned into a tyrannical ruler, partially because of Injustice Batman. But let's be honest, there's many people responsible, and that includes Batman, but also would include someone like Superman Wonder Woman, and many others. Superman was going off the rails. Superman was doing things that we've never seen him do. The rage that was within him boiled over, took over, and he did things that nobody could possibly imagine, killing people that we never thought he would. People like Shazam, people like Green Arrow, and many, many others. And frankly, when that person was that far gone, not even your own family could bring you back. Not even Kara could bring him back. So, does it really matter who's necessarily responsible? Or does it matter that that's where he got to? Because truly, I don't know if there would have been a way to fully stop Superman, Injustice Superman, from falling into that pit of despair and becoming the tyrant that he truly became. But I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Was Batman fully responsible for Injustice Superman's downfall? Was it partially his fault, or do you think that he had no fault in it at all? I would love to hear what you guys have to say. And also, comment down everybody who's at fault, if you think so, or if you think that multiple people are at fault. Tell me all the people you think are at fault for the downfall of Injustice Superman. Maybe you think it's Batman, Joker, Superman himself, Wonder Woman, all that stuff. I love to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section. And give me some suggestions, as always, for what you want me to read or watch or stuff like that. I appreciate all the support on the videos. And if you enjoyed this video, YouTube thinks that you're going to enjoy this one. So might as well go check it out as well.